Hi Libra, welcome to a special Life Path Tarot reading for February and March 2019. I'm Marina and I'm just shuffling the cards. It's funny, the first card is, two swords, representing air like Libra. More swords. Oh my goodness. Now I'm going to pick an additional card because the Eight of Swords is something that I will not. I just got this for another sign. Okay, there we go. Alright, so you have all minor arcana, Libra, and it makes me think that your biggest shifts are happening maybe beyond the month of March. Because minor arcana can mean the day-to-day situations arising, but not necessarily something life-changing, more just changes on a very subtle level or in a small way. And the other thing, too, is I was pointing this out with, I believe it was your opposite sign, Aries, that there are going to be 2 full moons in your sign. One on March 20th, which is this time period, and the next one, that one is at 0 degrees of Libra, and then at 29 degrees of Libra on April 19th. So these are like bookends of the degrees. The first one almost being like a new moon of sorts, and the last one being, you know, a definite ending. And that you can feel that sense of finality about something. So having 2 full moons in your sign in a particular 30-day period, to me that's fairly significant. That means that Libras might be really saying goodbye to some things. Really things coming to a head for you where you're forced to make a decision. So I just wanted to let you know about that because I do think that you are coming into a significant period towards the end of March, going into April. So the card that is the kind of heart of the matter card that's describing you at this moment is the Queen of Swords. Sometimes when I see her now, I think of somebody who is trying to make a decision. Maybe I shouldn't say like trying to choose between 2 things, but trying to get your head together so that you're not allowing emotions to sway you about something. So there is a decision that you have to make. It might not be a choice between 2 things per se, but you may be feeling a certain way and wanting to not feel that way because you might think that it weakens your resolve about something that you have to really deal with. Now, these readings are intended to be, you know, I guess you would say more along the lines of connected with career matters. Life path, to me, is going to be what you do in the world more than personal relationships, but personal relationships can certainly factor into all of this. So I have gotten cards where I think relationships are affecting the situation. So the first piece of advice is represented by the Knight of Swords. And this is a card of somebody who is really being straightforward, maybe blunt even, speaking up for themselves, or speaking up for a situation. So if this is, for instance, a situation where, let's say you are a supervisor, and you have somebody above you who wants you to fire somebody, and this is like almost is symbolic of what you don't like about your job, where you feel like you're being forced to be the bad guy, the one that has to do these kinds of things, and these other people just get off scot-free. They make 10 times as much money as you make, and you're left holding the bag of what. The Knight of Swords might mean that you have to advocate for somebody and say, no, this person is not expendable. This person, does a good job. I'm sorry if the bottom line is being threatened here because you want to make even more money. You don't have enough money, but I'm not going to do this. Like, you might take a line in the sand about something, but with the Queen of Swords, it's like you're trying to make sure that you're not just being emotional about it, that you're really looking at the situation rationally, and you want to be rational because you know what the stakes are. You know that could lead to some kind of problem where you get the axe, if anything. Could this be in your personal life? I think so. This could be a kind of like a turning point in your relationships, or your primary relationship. Remember that Uranus has been in your 7th house for the last 7 years, so this may have definitely impacted your marriage, or the equivalent of a marriage. And this is indicated by the second piece of advice, which is the Four of Wands. I want to say, in terms of the Knight of Swords, in terms of like a personal situation, that you might have to speak up. Maybe you have been in a marriage where you have kind of like tried to twist yourself into a pretzel to be what somebody else wants you to be. Well, in a way, that's not fair, because you are not being who you really are. And then when you finally get fed up with it, the other person's like, whoa, I didn't know that was how you felt. You acted like everything was fine, and now all of a sudden you're acting like I'm the worst person ever. What's up with that? And the thing, too, is that the advice with the Knight of Swords can be that you have to see somebody as they really are. The Knight of Swords person may be very intelligent, they may be very dynamic, but they may have a really scattered energy. They may not be very stabilizing. They may be destabilizing for you in some way. And they may have a wonderful job. Actually, the Knight of Swords is the card of lawyers. So this deliberation with the Queen of Swords, you may be deciding whether or not to get divorced, and you decide, yeah, I'm going to call the lawyer. And then this card, the second piece of advice, is the Four of Wands. This connects to home. With the Wands, it's not so much like maybe even practical matters where it's talking about protect your property or something like that. But it's really reminding you of what home is. It's not just four walls. It's not just a beautiful piece of real estate. It's having that sense of a refuge, that you can come home and you feel like you're surrounded by the people that mean the most to you in the world. And with the Knight of Swords, there may have been drama in your relationship. I'm getting so much swords here. So much drama. And I think I've said this before jokingly, that I really believe that with the penchant that Libra has for peace, harmony, why is it that they attract drama so much? And I know I'm broad brushing, but just in my own personal observations of Librans, it's like drama city. So part of that, I think, is that part that I was talking about with the Knight of Swords, of not speaking your piece, not being authentic, being what somebody else wants you to be until you can't take it anymore. And then all of a sudden, it's really like false advertising when you think about it. You try to present yourself as one thing when you're something else entirely different. And if this is like a work situation, with the Four of Wands, remember that home is where the heart is. And so if you have to downsize, maybe you're thinking to yourself, I just bought a new home, and now I have to deal with this unpleasant situation at work. And what about my home? Maybe I should fire this person. Maybe I should just go along with the program. because I don't want to lose this property. But, you know, don't ever be so attached to some external possession, even a home, which is, you know, not just any possession, that you would go against your own principles. And the third card or piece of advice is the Seven of Swords. Now, sometimes this can indicate that somebody is trying to deceive you, especially, you know, whether it's in the marriage, going behind your back and cheating, or intellectual theft in the workplace. So that is just kind of maybe asking you to remember what this is all about. But I also think that the third piece of advice could be you need to, like, get out of Dodge in a very crafty manner, because this could be like leaving the situation at hand, but not doing so in a very, like, over-the-top kind of a way. Just easing yourself away from a situation that feels really uncomfortable. So let's say this is a workplace situation and you are in a position of authority, but it's really stressing you out because they're making you take these drastic steps, maybe firing people, and you have to have that sense of detachment, but you just feel for those people and you think it's wrong what they're doing. You think that it's not right, that they're just doing it for their bottom line, and they're not even considering the person that they're firing, because you're the one that has to do the dirty work, but also because it might wreak havoc on the business itself, and they don't have to deal with the everyday operation of the business. So let's say it's a retail environment where they want to trim the budget. And even though they have great sales, they still are always looking for ways to cut corners or cut back. And so they're asking you to fire one or more people, and you know that that's going to make other workers have to work longer hours, maybe do more than their fair share of work, and it's going to have a bad environment, and it's also going to lead to customers not getting the proper treatment either, because you're not going to be able to really spend as much time with them, you know, things like that. And so rather than just say, I quit, and make a big scene over it, by subtly removing yourself from that situation, you avoid the backlash. You know, some of these people, they will blacklist you. They will, you know, speak bad about you across the industry because they're just vengeful. They're just, ugh. So don't give them that ammunition. And the outcome is the Eight of Swords. This can be a card of feeling oppressed. That's why I picked another card. And I think that this comes up if you are kind of like feeling like you can just completely have what you want in the current state of circumstance. It actually might just be a reiteration that you need to make some changes. But as I said, maybe it's not coming in February and March. Maybe this is just the lead up to that, for that finale, that 29-degree Libra full moon, when everything that has been, you know, kind of the crescendo, the height of the whatever has been waiting in the wings for you to finish up, finally comes to the surface for you to finish. And then so I picked an additional card, and it was the Three of Pentacles. This is a card actually of cooperation with coworkers. So what this might be suggesting is that you may decide to enlist people, and they might not just be like coworkers. They may actually be some of your other employees if you are in a position above them. But it could even be like the people that are at the same rank as you, that you are on the same page, so that you not only work effectively now, but when these corporate types of people, whatever you want to call them, we call them suits when I used to work retail, when they come into that, yeah, we would call them corporate, because we were the retail part of it, and they were that, I was going to say they were the brains, we were the brawn. And they come and they dictate, you know, what you're supposed to do. And even if you're a manager, you're on that end of like being dictated to. So you may have your own authority, but you still have somebody you have to answer to. And that's what I was kind of getting at, that they don't get their hands dirty. You're the one that has to crush somebody's dreams and tell them that, oh yeah, by the way, you're not going to have an income in 2 weeks. You know, have a nice life. And you may be able to enlist other, you know, fellow workers, fellow underlings, or I shouldn't say fellow underlings, but underlings, to be on the same page with you, so that you're of one voice and that you can kind of stand up to these people if need be. But you may be planning your exit, like the Seven of Swords. That's another thing. The Seven of Swords is a card of strategizing. So definitely, you know, get your strategy on. Don't just feel like, oh no, what am I going to do? You have the brains, Libra, and the charm to extricate yourself from an unpleasant situation in a way that leaves you completely intact, and all your opportunities and your reputation intact. Okay, that's what I have for you. And if you would like an astrological life path reading, please check me out online. I have a link below for that. And I wish you a great next couple of months. Bye.